Hey, what's up, YouTube? I'll give you guys a few seconds to get in here. Welcome to Me Humble Abode. If you guys are coming in, you want to let me know where you're from, give me the thumbs up, like this video, share this video so I can get as many people in here as possible. And also, but while I got you in here, I want to talk about my membership program. It's a 4-tier program, and the first tier um, get you access to the private Facebook group. The second tier gets you in our weekly group coaching calls. The second one is the third tier is going to be the group coaching calls. Plus, you're going to get one-on-one calls with me as well. The fourth one is going to be also one-on-one calls. So while you guys are all storming in here, let's get to it. I titled today's video, Overly Emotional Men Become Unattractive. Why did I decide to name it that? And why did I decide to talk about this topic? We're going to go to one of the comments that I had in one of my videos, and it was about a guy got upset or a little bit. It looks like he might have been a little disgruntled about the theory that I talked about how men. Sorry, I need to get myself focused here. The theory that women, how read a book a long time ago called Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and it's a really good book. I think a lot of people should read that book. And in that book, they talked about how men make decisions based on logic, women make decisions based on their emotions, how they feel in that moment. And he got upset. He got a little bent out of shape, and he said, "You know, that's sexist." Actually, I'll read you guys the comment here. I have it right here on deck for you. Okay, so he said, "Okay, are you saying that this thing about women because you have actual studies to back your theory that women operate from a space of emotion, or is it perception of women biased because of social conditioning?" I don't think it has anything to do with social conditioning. It's biology. It's the way that we are wired. We're wired totally different. That's where that comes from. It comes from the book. It comes from studying. It comes from self-reflection. It comes from experience. It comes from coaching hundreds of people. So it's just we're just wired differently. You know, a perfect example, if you think about how men and women parent in the parenting roles, you know, the women tend to be a little bit more of a pushover. They tend to give into the kid when they ask for things. Because in that moment, you know, they don't want their kids to experience no. They want their kids to experience abundance. They want them to experience the nurturing, caring spirit that women bring to parenting. But for men, you know, the men typically, this isn't certain because there are men out there, and we're going to get to that topic really soon. Typically, you have the man, the dad, that, you know, he's the one that says, you know, he's the no guy. He's the one that mom always says, you know, let me consult with your dad. Let me talk to dad about this. And typically, you know, kids don't want to go to their dad first. They'll go right to mom because they know if they say, "Mom, you know, I really want this. I really got this going on. I'm going to need you to support me on this." You know, mom, like, you know, let's just roll with that. Now, go ahead and comment down in this section. You got 9 people in here. I should be seeing 9 thumbs up. Let me know if you feel like what I'm saying is accurate. And I'm going to continue to read this comment also. Hey, Lens, any tips on how to make the journey from beta, anxious, preoccupied to secure alpha? We're going to get there, brother. We're going to get there. You know, the parent, you know, the mom is the one that is usually the one that give in, the one that say yes quicker. The dad's more logical, like, no, we need all the details. We need all the facts. You know, we're the ones that look like the people who are stuck in our ways or, you know, emotionally centered. Okay. Because I know plenty of emotional men. All right. On to that. He said he knows plenty of emotional men. So here's the thing. Men who are overly emotional, after a while, that becomes unattractive to women because women, that's what attracts them to men is emotional stability, being centered. Now, life is all about a balance, all right, which is why the guys that are too emotionally unavailable, they get left. And the ones that get too emotional, they get left. So you need somebody that's in the middle. You need to be, if you're a man watching this video, you need to be centered and not be swayed off your decisions, off your course very easily. Because after a while, that no longer becomes a challenge. It becomes needy, beta male-ish aura. And you don't want to present that to your girlfriend, your wives, whoever you're seeing, which is why when I coach, gay and lesbian couples or people who are in that type of dynamic, there's always going to be one that is a little bit more masculine and one that's more feminine in the role, because that's just how it is. One is going to be a little bit more emotionally unavailable, a little bit more masculine in their energy. It's just that masculine energy is being decisive, being emotionally centered. It's okay. So a perfect example. Why do you think that men who are emotionally unavailable, the people who, if you watch my videos on my channel, the dismissive avoiding men, why do you think they are sought after so often? Why do you think women are trying their hardest to get that person back? I have very rarely seen women come to me and ask me how to get back an anxious attaching man, a man who wasn't emotionally unavailable. I mean, sorry, a man who was overly emotional, one that chased after them and gave them everything that they wanted, the one that cried all the time. After a while, that energy just becomes very unattractive and unappealing. So it is important to have, everybody knows that, if you're watching my channel for long enough, I am emotional. I'm an anxious attacher that is in recovery. So literally, I have to hold my horses at the gate whenever I feel some type of emotion coming up, or if I'm feeling like I'm becoming a little bit uncentered. I have to be sure that this is going to be a lifelong deal for me. I'm going to always, there's a book called No More Mr. Nice Guy by Donald Glover. And in that book, he talks a lot about the nice guy syndrome. And the nice guy syndrome is the guy who was always saying yes, who's always bending himself over backwards for his spouse or his girlfriend. He's the one that gets overly emotional when he doesn't get enough attention, or he doesn't get enough whatever it is he wants. So he becomes very uncentered. I suspect that my DA female broke up because of the I can't live without you vibe I gave out. Exactly. The instant that you give off that vibe that, hey, I can't live without you, you're the love of my life, I don't know how I'll get through this. You don't even have to say it. You just give off that energy, because life is, this is law called the law of vibration. When you give off those type of vibes, those clinginess, those needy vibes, the uncentered, overly emotional vibes, I don't care how long it takes, but it will happen. It won't happen. It may not happen within a month or two of dating that person, but give it a couple years, give it a couple decades. And after a while, they're going to be, he's just a little too emotional for me. I don't know why I'm not attracted. And all the friends and family members will be writing down on paper why this guy is so nice, why you should be with him. He's so sensitive and he's so caring. Then that's all good qualities, but you have to be able to balance that out with the masculine side. It's healthy to emote. I know this because when I was mentoring kids for 13 years, kids, they had a hard time identifying their emotions. The first emotion that they would show is anger. And I don't know if this guy I should get back to that. I don't know if this guy was talking about the angry side of men, but typically what I've seen when I was working with hundreds of at-risk youth, their default setting was anger. When they were sad, they get angry. When they get disappointed, they get angry. When they were embarrassed, they got angry. It's like, I don't think you guys realize, or they didn't realize, and this is one thing I was really trying to clue them in on and educate them about, was anger is a secondary emotion. There is always an emotion that comes before that. And as men, they feel like the only emotion that they can show right away is anger. And that'll get you put in jail or get you blocked on social media really quickly. You guys have seen the men that or heard about friends, or you had it happen to yourself, where he comes into your DM or your inbox and starts asking you questions and you don't respond right away, or you don't respond at all. Then they just start blowing you up with all these angry, rageful messages, and that's all them because they're feeling insecure. But those are the type of guys that women don't want to deal with. They don't want to be around that type of stalkerish, annoying behavior, that type of that inner child that comes out that says, see me, mom, hear me, mom, listen to me, mom, give me some attention. And after a while, it just becomes unattractive. Hey, thumbs up if you're coming in here. I appreciate you guys uh, taking your noon with me right here in the Midwest. We're on the it's 12:10. A little bit rusty. I'm trying to get my live back in flow here. Back to that message though. I like you to consider this, and if you have factual evidence to prove this assertion, please present it. Here you are. Here I am presenting it for you. Otherwise, we're promoting sexist views as a male listener who is informed on these types of things from various other personal development coaches. It's really off-putting here for someone claiming to be an authority on this subject state these things without evidence. Well, I think I gave you a little bit of evidence there. If not, my background is in sociology. I studied sociology. I got my degree in that. Minor is in religion. Went to coaching school. Got my life coaching certification. Coached over hundreds of clients in their relationships. Was in a 16-year, 9-year marriage myself. Was raised by women, which they would tell me all the secrets about the things that turned them off. And I have several people that are DA women in my life, and I know how they operate. I've studied it for too long. What else do I need? What more credentials do you need? Because here's the thing. It's one thing to be somebody who has done this and purely want to do this out of the kindness of his own heart and to help people grow and help people have healthier relationships. But it's another thing to be on Instagram and you see other people doing it and you want to label yourself a life or relationship coach or whatever coach you want to label yourself. Now that's deceitful, and that's not, and I really kind of get bummed out about how the coaching industry is giving really good coaches black eyes because they're just not doing the research. They're giving people false information. They're trying to make a buck real quick. And I am of service. I've been working with people for over the past since 2006. So it's been a really long time. Let me get to these comments. And I used to be so sensitive. I've been doing the same thing and it's a lot more healthy. What's that, Alex? Would love to have a man who shows some emotion. So it's like I said, it's healthy to show emotion, but you got to balance it out. You can't be just a ball. You can't sit there and try to turn your girlfriend or your wife into your therapist when you're sitting there talking about all your childhood wounds and all your issues. Like that's something you need to go seek counseling about, because after a while, they're just not going to want to hear it anymore. I was somebody who was always complaining about, I played football. I was always complaining about body aches, about this, about that was going on. And after a while, my ex-wife just didn't want to hear it anymore. She's like, just go to the doctor. If you have an issue, this is why those guys that can go out, break their legs and just be like, I'm fine, I'm not doing it. You never hear anything about it. Those are the guys that women feel like, oh man, he's got the beard, he's got the masculinity about him. He's never complaining, because all that complaining and drama and stuff, that's feminine energy. That's not masculine energy. I've been doing the same thing. All right. You helped me so much. Thank you. Oh, thanks a lot, Aylin Alpha. Appreciate you watching the channel, sharing this with everybody. It's been a pleasure. I can't wait to see where the future goes with this channel. I hope it grows and I can reach as many people as possible, and I can help people have healthier and happier relationships, because that's what it's all about. Yeah, trying to stop chasing in general. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's hard. Like I said, as an anxious attacher, it's hard to hold those horses back when you become triggered and something happened that drives you off your center. Man, there's no amount of words from anybody that's going to stop you from feeling that way in that moment. So what do you think are the major points that an anxious preoccupied can do to stop a female DA from deactivating? Take space for yourself. If you're an anxious guy, if you're AP, take space for yourself. Be able to say no, because I know whenever we say no as anxious, we feel so bad by turning the other person down. But it's healthy for you to keep your individuality yourself. Don't try to engulf the other person. Don't try to take on their identity, all their hobbies, their friends, and their family. It's important for you to stay centered and stay true to you, because that's what's going to keep them attracted to you. And that's what's going to stop them from wanting to deactivate. If you're giving them their space and you're allowing for them to, because you got to understand, emotion, love avoidance, they're going to pull back at some point. They're going to have something that I call them emotional landmine. You're going to step on one of those emotional landmines and they're going to want to pull away. And your natural reaction is going to be to chase after them, to see where they're at, to make sure that they're not abandoning you forever. That's that inner child coming out saying, "Mommy, don't leave me," or "Daddy, don't leave me." This is why people who have that are anxious, they have that fantasy about calling people daddy or whatever. We're not even going to get into that. I used to have no balance and chase everyone and women. And through my self-healing journey and my recent focus on it, I've made a lot of progress. Awesome. Now, if you guys in here, if you guys want one-on-one coaching with me, because some of these things need to be talked about in depth, or you could just become one of my members in my membership program. I see I got one in here. It's important for you guys to do the work on yourself. Like you don't even have to come to me. All right. If you guys know that you have certain issues with your personality, certain things that aren't necessarily healthy, but then again, I don't like putting labels on things. I try to see things for what they are. Things that aren't helping you get what you want out of life. It's important for you to talk to somebody. I don't care if it's a therapist, a counselor, a coach. Preferably, you want all three of them. When I was mentoring, we had this thing called the wraparound program, which is it wraps around everything. It wraps around the school, it wraps around the family, the church, whoever is a major influence in that person's life. That's part of the program. I am a FA. Emotional intelligence takes practice, study, and consciousness overall. Your work and dedication is appreciated. Checo, I forgot how to pronounce that. I appreciate you, man. I feel like my DAX pulls away after a certain amount of time. It happened twice now that she's deactivated after 8 or 9 months. It's going to happen. And I kind of have this running theory that you might want to be a little bit leery around the holidays, around when the cold weather comes, the seasonal. Anybody that has an unhealthy attachment style, it can be on any end of the spectrum. They're going to pull away because something about the seasonal months or maybe the holidays, it could be like past traumas that came around this time of the year. Maybe you were somebody who had dysfunctional families for the holidays. I did a video on that, holidays with a fearful avoidant. Just know that it's not personal. Like don't take it personal. Your videos and DA helps me get a clear perspective. Good, Alex. What steps are you taking? It's best to be strong and distant than emotional and validating seeking. Well, yeah, it's best to have a balanced approach. If you are somebody who's naturally anxious, which is why when I coach my DA people, they ask me, how should they operate? How should they function? Because they don't want to, they fear becoming too needy and too clingy. And I tell them, look, that's not going to happen with you, because your default is to be setting yourself some space and taking your space. You're not going to get to the point where you get clingy and you get needy. That's okay. So the odds are very slim, because here's the thing. Our subconscious mind operates, over 95% of the way that we operate. It controls over 95% of the way we operate. So when you start to do something subconsciously, you're going to naturally pull away if you're a DA. You're not going to want to call more or text more like the anxious, which is why the anxious person, which is me, You know, you have to hold those horses you want to make yourself feel like you're dismissive. But it's really just becoming more centered, more balanced. That's the yin and the yang. That's all it is. Nancy, looking at myself, journaling, learning about attachments, manifesting, and self-healing. And that's the thing about healing attachment styles, period. For me personally, it was exercising, studying, meditating, manifestations, doing affirmations. You got to do a whole overhaul, healing that inner child. You got to overhaul over all of that, because you can't just do one of them and expect it to work. You know, it may work for a short time, but you really have to do a whole cleansing of the way that you operate. So manifestations are great. Declarations are great too. So I hope that broke that down for you. That no disrespect to the guy that commented, and I felt like something was going on with him. Usually when people come on my channel and they write stuff like that, it means they're going through it themselves, and something's happening where they're not feeling quite happy in life. And that's okay. It happens. If you need somebody to rage at, anger at, that's fine. Do it on my wall. I'd much rather you do it there than do it towards somebody else, you know, because trust me, I've been raged and angered at for quite often. So I hope you heal. I hope that you find the closure and the acceptance that you need. And I also hope that if you're the one that, or if you're the man that's really emotional, that you can find that centeredness, find that calmness, that stillness. You know, like the Bible says, be still and know that I'm God. Let God work in your life. Happy Monday, everybody. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. And it's so people are having a hard time finding my membership too. It's really simple. You just go to my homepage and it should have a little join button there. I go to my own page and I can join my own membership, which is interesting. I kind of chuckle when I see it. See you guys later. Have a good week. Stay warm out there.